ratio and proportion. So already we have been discussing this topic for this is almost third day. So by this I think you have got some idea about this topic. But you need to know the importance of the topic when we are going to apply the same. Application of the topic is all important. So today we are able to use this topic in our routine life, in our day-to-day life. So students, first of all, let me tell you that ratio proportion is all about dividing the amount in the given ratio. But as I told you already, you won't be given ratio straight away. You will be given some condition. Basing on that, you have to identify the ratio in which the amount is supposed to be divided. Yeah, students, now we just we get back to the questions, and I believe that many of the questions almost we discussed up to question number 15, more than 15, and let me check any question you need to repeat the same. If you want me to repeat any of the question again, yes, I will be doing that, otherwise I will be going ahead. So let me check it out. Let us discuss any of the questions we need to repeat. Question number 1 is not a problem at all. Question number 2 is of course similar to question number 1. Question number 1 and 2 is very much clear to you. And question number 3. Question number 3. Yes, students, you understand the point. Question number 3. Question number 4. I believe that it is not a problem. Question number 4 is also okay with you. Question number 5. Question number 6. Question number 7. Check it out. Question number 6. I hope you understand this. Question number 7. Students, look at question number 7. Just look at question number 7. Any one of you want me to repeat this question again? Let me check it out. Any one of you want me to repeat this question again? Yeah, good morning students. Good morning. Yeah, please let me tell you if any one of you want me to explain question number 7. Look at the question on your screen and let us check. Someone of you send me the message that I need to repeat some of the questions. Okay, I will be doing that. Yes, students, question number 7. If you think you don't have any confusion with this question, let me make some changes in the question and you need to answer that. Are you prepared for that, my dear students? Now be ready. Students, are you ready now? Come on here. Please look at the question. In question number 7, I make a little change with the question and you have to answer. In place of 7, in place of 5 rupees, my dear students, in place of 5 rupees, if I give you 25 rupees, tell me what is going to be your answer for the same question. Your time starts now. I will be giving you only 30 seconds of time. Okay? Come on, go ahead. Quick. Come on, student, respond. Come on, student, what is your answer? Yeah, 7th question, Cheppandi sir, some of you are asking me. Yeah, I am telling you the same question again. But a little change, with a small change in the question number 7. Come on, student, respond. Last 10 seconds. Somebody already put the answer. Okay, very fine, very fine. Yeah. Well done, students. Very well done, very well done. I appreciate your response. So let us come to this question once again. Just look at that. 675 rupees is supposed to be divided between A and B. Yes, we can divide provided we are given any ratio. Yeah, of course. But the thing is, 675, we are not very clear in what ratio that should be divided. So what you are given, you know. If you subtract 25 rupees from each, if you subtract 25 rupees from each, that is 75, the remaining 600 should be distributed in the ratio 1:2:3. Got the point? So for your information, my dear students, 1:2:3 should be applicable on, you must use that ratio not on 675, but it is on 600. You understand the point? Come on, student. Come on, what is your answer? What is your question? You are asked to find B's share. Yeah. So B's share will be 2/6 into 600, that is 200. But I could see that many of you put your answer 200, but I think 200 is not the final answer. Wow, very good. Appreciate. You did very well, my dear students. 200 is not your final answer, but your final answer must be 225. Yeah. Well done, well done, well done. I could see that many of you put your answer 225. I appreciate. Very well done, students. So I believe that now it is okay with you. I think we can go ahead. Come on, students. Now we move on to next question. Question number 8. Yeah. Question number 8 is very similar to the previous one. I need not repeat that. Question number 9 and question number 10, I said that we will be discussing at the end of the session. Now, question number 11. Two numbers are in the ratio 12:13. If each number is increased by 2, the ratio becomes 13:14. Find the first number. That was the question, and in fact, you answered yesterday effectively because we make some changes as well, but I want to see how good you are able to repeat the same today. Yesterday is different, today is different. Let me see how you are responding. Should I make some changes, my dear students? Should I? Are you ready now? Please, ready with your paper and pen. Come on, student, here is the question. In place of 12:13, yes, students, in place of 12:13, I give you 2:3, and in place of 13:14, I give you 3:4. Come on, you are given only 20 seconds of time. Come on, student, make it fast. What is the first number? What is the first number? If that is the question, what is the first number? You are given only 20 seconds of time. Quick. Come on, man. Come on. Yes. Yeah, very well done. Yeah. Excellent. I already got the response. Yeah, very good, students. Now let us see how we need to answer this question. Remember, two numbers are in the ratio 2:3. 2:3 is the ratio between the numbers. Remember, they are not the numbers. The numbers are in the ratio 2:3. 2:3 in the sense, the numbers may be 2, 3, 4, 6, something like anything in the multiple of 2:3. If you add 2, if you increase each number by 2, come on, student, the ratio is going to be 3:4. Obviously, when the numbers are added, the value increases, the ratio increases, of course. The first number, which was actually 2 parts, becomes 3. First number increases by 1 part, as well as second number also increases by 1 part. What do you understand from that? Each number increases by 1 part by adding 2, which means every 1 part is 2. What you are asked to find? First number. 2 into 2, 4. Because every 1 part is 2, therefore first number 2 into 2, 4. Yes, students, I appreciate that. Everybody put your answer 4. Excellent. Very well done. Excellent, students. Congratulations. I think we can go ahead. And I come to know that some of you have joined recently. Very recently, which means that you may not be able to cope up with the previous one. But in competitive examinations, we make use of the topics which are already been covered. I know that this maybe some of you are not able to get the point when I make use of the previous one. And we take some time and we will repeat the topics which are already completed, so that you may be able to recoup that. But anyway, if any one of you think that that topic was not completed, don't be bothered, my dear students, we will be repeating the same again. Therefore, whenever I have to use the previous concepts, I will become little slow and I will get back to the topic. Okay? It's not a very big issue. Even if you are a newcomer, you can cope up with the topic without any confusion. You can make it, right? Come on, student. Now we move on to question number 12. Question number 12. Come on, student, and in this question also I want to make some changes. Now be ready. So I just want to see how would you are able to repeat the same, and after that we go ahead. Are you ready? Come on, student. Yeah. Here is the question. I just want to make some changes. Just look at that. In question number 12, let me tell you, in place of 6:7, if I give you 7:8, and in place of 8:9, if I don't make any change and I keep 8:9 as it is, what is going to be your answer? Only I make the change in first. Second ratio I did not make any change. Tell me, students, 6:7, I just want to make 7:8. Come on, what you are waiting? 20 seconds time, your clock starts now. Quick. Yeah. Come on, student. Yes. I appreciate that many of you are responding quickly. I appreciate that you are responding very quickly. Very well done. Yeah, students, very good. So you tell me what is the point? The first ratio is 7:8. After adding 10 to each of the number, when each number is increased by 10, the ratio becomes 8:9. Each number increases by one part. You understand the word I am using? Each number increases by one part. 7 becomes 8, 8 becomes 9 by adding 10. And I conclude that every one part is 10. Hence, first number is 7 into 10, second number is 8 into 10. So 70, 80 should be your answer. I appreciate that. Yeah, many of you responded almost. Very well done. Yeah, students, well, I think we are going very fine. I think we can go ahead with confidence. Come on, students. We move on to next question. 13. I think it is very similar to the previous one. Question number 14. Yeah, students, just look at that. Now here is the point. Students, as far as our ratio is concerned, I just want to tell you that if G is meant for Ganesh and S is meant for students, let me suppose that we both are distributing some chocolates between us. Should we distribute some chocolates? No? Want to take all you? Oh, no. You should also give some chocolates to us. We on Teachers' Day are getting chocolates. Even our younger people, even the people who are about 20 years old, still they are giving us chocolates. We are eating chocolates and going for gym. Okay, so students, G and S, someone has given us some chocolates in our class and we are distributing Ganesh and students. Let me suppose that we are distributing chocolates in the ratio 3:6. What does that mean? 3:6 is that we have only 9 chocolates? May not be. We may have any number of chocolates, but we are distributing in the ratio 3:6, which means for every 3 chocolates I get, you will be getting 6 chocolates. Isn't it? So can I say that it is nothing but 1:2? Isn't it? 3 and 6 means 1:2. What, man? Yeah. And I think this can be taken as 6:12. Yeah, why not? You can take any number. I mean to say that a ratio can be either multiplied or divided by any number. Ratio means it is a comparison. For every 1 chocolate I get, you will be getting 2 chocolates. Like that, the number can be extended to any number. So you understand that. So basing on that, and we just discussed this topic. Let me come again this topic, how we discuss this. 2 numbers are in the ratio 1:2. If each number is increased by 15, if each number is increased by 15, what happened, you know? The ratio becomes 3:5. This is what you are given. Let us check where the necessary changes are supposed to be made. 1 becomes 3, that means increased by 2 parts. The increase is not similar. The increase is not similar. We need to make some changes. Therefore, 1:2, I take it as 2:4, 3:5, I just keep it as it is. Tell me, 2 becomes 3, so increased by 1 part, 4 becomes 5, increased by 1 part. Every number increased by 1 part by adding 15. In this question, every 1 part is 15. Therefore, first number is 2 into 15, 30. Students, are you comfortable with the changes I am just doing? I mean to say that ratios can be, student, please don't send your message. I could not read actually. The problem is, I am sorry to say that you are typing a lot of bigger message. I understand that, but the problem is I could not read all your messages. What best I can read is, I can see how you are responding. I just only see your answers. So, your messages, I just want to read at one particular time and I will come back to that. Okay. At the moment, I can read only the response you are giving to me. Any other messages I can't read because the time never permits us. Please understand. Come on, student. Now we move on to next question. Question number 15. I think this is okay with you because similar one. Now question number 16. Yeah. Come to the point. Question number 16. Tell me, students. Question number 16. Here is the question. Two numbers are in the ratio 1:2 is to 2:3. No. The ratio should not be a fraction. The ratio must be a number. Ratio must be a number. If at all, if it is given in ratio, we need to put the same in number. How you see? 1:2, 2:3. 1:2 means, come on student, 1 into 2, 3/2. 2:3, 6 plus 2, 8, 8/3. Come on student, come on. 3 into 3, 9, 2 into 2, 16, 9:16. Therefore, this you can write 9:16. What do you think? Ratio must be in numbers, they should not be in fractions. If at all, if it is in fraction, we need to convert the same into number. Okay. Now here it is 1/2/3, 1/2/3. Come on student, 1/2/3, 2 1/2. Come on student, convert the same. 1/2/3, 5/3. 2 2/1. 2 into 2, 4 plus 1, 5. 5/2. 5. Therefore, we can cancel 5. So, you can cross multiply, then we get 2:3. So, here you can write 2:3. Please make the changes. The first ratio should be 9:16. Second ratio must be 2:3. Whenever the ratio is given in fraction, we have to convert the same into numbers. You understand, my dear student? Now, shall we continue? Are you ready now? Please come. Come again. Tell me, student, what we did? This we know that is 9:16. This we know that is 2:3. Isn't it? 2:3. Now we continue. Come on student, just continue. Two numbers are in the ratio 9:16. When each number is increased by 15, the ratio becomes 2:3. I hope you understand what I did. What I did is, the ratio which is in fraction, first put it in number. You understand that? Come on. Come on, student. Tell me. Oh, 9 becomes 2. This is ridiculous. What do you think? The ratio must increase. But in fact, here the ratio decreases. We need to change this ratio. You understand that? We need to change this ratio. We need to increase this ratio. Should I tell you one interesting logic, man? What is the difference between 9 and 16? Difference between 9 and 16? 7. You multiply the entire equation by 7. Tell me how it changes. 9 is to 16 by adding 15, the ratio becomes 14 is to 21. 2 into 7 14, 3 into 7 21. Come on, come on, come on. 9 becomes 14, increases by 5 parts. 16 becomes 21, increases by how many parts? 5 parts. By adding 15, in both the cases you know that we have added 15. So 15 increases 5 parts, which means every one part is 3. In this question, every one part is 3. So what is the greater of the two numbers? What is the greater? 16 is the greater. 16 into 3, 48. Please note the question, my dear students. I know that some of you did not get it right. I can understand that. I will repeat the question again. I will repeat this. Please note down. First, you note down the question. I will repeat this question again with a different method so that you may be able to understand this for sure. Yes, students. So this is about fractions. Students, did you note it down? Are you comfortable, man? Done? So shall I get back to the question actually what the mistake in this and what is the point in this question? I will come back to you. For example, Ganesh and students on in a function we are distributing chocolates, me and you, Ganesh and you students. Let me suppose that when I am getting 1 by 2, you are getting 1 by 3 chocolate. 1 by 2, 1 by 3. What 1 by 2? Which means half of the chocolate. Then what 1 by 3? 1/3 of the chocolate. Is that possible? We are not kids. Is it right? It is ridiculous, you know. It never gives any sense for your information. Yeah, I understand that. So whenever this kind of questions are given, students, what the best we need to understand is we have to multiply the same, cross multiply the same, then we conclude that the ratio is 3:2. So 1 by 2, 1 by 3 should be taken as 3:2. Ratio should be in number. You know what is the meaning of 3:2? For every 3 chocolates I am getting, you are getting 2 chocolates. You understand that? For every 3 chocolates I am getting, you are getting 2 chocolates. If I get 30 chocolates, you will be getting 20. If I get 300 chocolates, you will be getting 200. Now this is good. I can tell you that the ratio should be in number, should not be in fraction. If at all, if it is given in fraction, we have to convert the same into number. You understand that? Come on, student. For example, let me suppose that Ganesh and students, we are distributing chocolates like this. For every 1 by 2 chocolates, I gave you 2 1 by 3 chocolate. Once again, ridiculous. What is 1 by 2 chocolate? 1 full chocolate and half chocolate. Doesn't make any sense, you know. Oh, so what I told you, we need to convert the same into number. Let us see how to convert that. 1 by 2. 2 into 1 plus 1, 3 by 2. 2 1 by 3, 3 into 2, 6, 7 by 3. Yeah. 2 3 by 2, 7 by 3. Come on student. 3 into 3, 2 into 7, 3 into 3, 9, 2 into 7, 14. It makes sense. It makes sense. For every 9 chocolates I am getting, you are getting 14 chocolates. It makes sense. What guys? Comfortable? Therefore, what I mean to say finally, ratio should be in numbers, should not be in fraction. I believe that now you are comfortable with. Okay student, I think now you are comfortable with. Yes students, please. Please students, don't send any messages right now. At the moment I told you already what messages I can see is only your response, the question I gave you. The remaining messages I will be reading after some time. Accordingly, I will take action for the next class. Please bear with me because class is having different people of different category. I need to understand the need of each and everyone. So, please do understand that. Students, shall we go ahead? Now, I think we can go ahead. Now, we move on to the next question. Please look at that. Here is the question. Question number 17. Here we see the application of ratio and proportion. Just look at that. What is that? The incomes of A and B, the incomes of A and B, here we have two people A and B, the incomes of A and B is in the ratio 3:2, okay, and expenditures of A and B, are in the ratio 5:3. Students, you can check from your father. If your father has to have any savings, there should be more income, less expenditure. In a society like India, as it is fully dominated by middle class and of course below middle class, usually parents do not have savings, not many parents. That is the reason why any situation like corona will have a greater impact on economy of a country like India. But European countries are different. They do have a lot of savings. Okay, that's a different issue. Students, if you want to have savings, there must be more income, less expenditure. What do you think? Come on, student. Oh, income 3 parts. Oh, okay. I do one thing. Can I take 3:2 as 6:4? Students, convincing? Can I take 3:2 as 6:4? Can I take? I can. I can. 3:2 can be taken as 6:4. You know pretty well. A ratio can be multiplied by a constant. Well done. Come on, student. Come to this point. A, income is 6 parts, expenditure is 5 parts. B's income is 4 parts, expenditure is 3 parts. How many parts each person is saving? 1 part. What man? 6 parts, 5 parts. He is actually earning 6 parts, not number, it is the ratio. He is putting 5 parts expenditure, which means he is saving 1 part. B also saving 1 part. Tell me how much each person is saving? 1000. In this particular question, every 1 part is 1000. What do you think? In this question, every 1 part is 1000. Yes, students, you are asking me 10:15. Yeah, students, I explain your question. Somebody put some question to me, I just explain them. You are asking one question, I will explain you. Yeah, I will be doing that. Come on, student, you tell me. 3:2, you understand that? It was taken as 6:4, you know very well. So, you tell me every one person is saving 1 part, that 1 part is 1000 because each saves 1000. Tell me what you are asked to find. A's income 6 parts. because every one part is 1000, 6 parts means 6000. Because you see that here I have to take that 6000. 6000, every one part is 1000, therefore 6 parts means 6000. Well done students, somebody already responded. I believe that we are going well, but still I need to get your report, because unless you properly follow this, I may not be able to go ahead. Come on student, now are you willing to take the question? Are you ready, man? Come on, yeah. Here is the question. Come on student, start. I am waiting your answer. I am waiting for your answer. You are given 30 seconds of time. Start. Please respond when I ask you to do so, my dear students. Please respond when I ask you to do so. Yeah, students, you are asking me to repeat. Yeah, I will be repeating this. I will be repeating with a different question. Why should we repeat the same question again? Better we take some more question so that you will be clear and you will be more confident as well. Come on, student, respond. What is your answer? Any one of you? Okay. I need to get some response from your side, then I can go ahead. Okay. Come on, man. Very well done. Congratulations. You did extremely well. Yeah. I appreciate that. I am so happy to see that, yes, you are responding very well. Come on, student, tell me. The incomes of X and Y. The incomes of X and Y are in the ratio 4:7, okay, and their expenditures are in the ratio 1:2. But in fact, each of the individual is saving 500 rupees. Each person is saving 500. But I think 3 parts, 5 parts, it is not seem to be fine. Then I do one thing. 4:7 I can keep 4:7 without any confusion. 1:2 I can take it as 3:6, my dear students. You can ask me, sir, how you are taking 3:6? That is the point, there is a logic for that. What is the difference of 4 and 7? Difference of 4 and 7 is 3. I multiply 1:2 by 3. Tell me, X, 4 parts income, 3 parts expenditure saves 1 part. Y also saves 1 part. You know that each person saves 500. In this question, every 1 part is 500. Y's income 7 into 500, 3,500. I think you are able to get it. What is your point, my dear students? Are you comfortable now? Good response. Congratulations, good response. I appreciate. It is so happy to see that you are responding very well, which implies that I am doing good. As a teacher, I am doing good. When you are responding quickly, it is an indication that you are doing good. In fact, I am doing good. Good students, I think we can go ahead. Come on, man. Okay? Comfortable? Now we move on to next question. Question number 19. We get back to this question again, students, not now. Please leave this question right now. Question number 19. We will be discussing this question after some time. Right? Question number 20. Look at that. The ratio of the males and females in a committee of 48 members is 3:1. So we have male and we have female. They are in the ratio 3:1. You know what is the meaning of a 3:1? For every 3 males, there is 1 female. That is the ratio, the significance of ratio. How many more ladies ought to be added to the committee so that the ratio becomes 9:5? Tell me, students, what was the ratio? The ratio was 3:1. What ratio you want to make? 9:5. You want to make like that by adding men or women? Huh? You are adding, you are going to add men. Okay. By adding male, which mean to say that by adding female, what you are about to add? How many more ladies? Okay, students, just look at that. So, male and females, can I take 9:3? 3:1, can I take 9:3? I tell you later why I am taking. Can I take? Yes, of course I can take, you know. Okay. The 9:3 ratio has to become 9:5, right? What man? It was actually 9:3. You want to make 9:5. Okay. Tell me. How many males were there? 9. How many males? 9. You are not adding any number of males. The ratio is supposed to be changed by adding females, which means you have to keep males absolutely constant. What man? You understand my point? Come on. Come on, come on. Tell me. How many females we have actually? 3 parts. They should be 5 parts. How many parts females must increase? 2 parts. Out of how many parts? 12. Into what is the number of people in the committee? 48. Which means if you want to make any number, any ratio like this, you have to add 8 females. Note this question. I know that many of you did not get it right. I will explain the question in different direction. Note down. Just note down. Note on the question, my dear students. Good. Just note down. Okay, student, right? Well done. Just keep quiet. Let me give you a different perception of the same question. Students, whenever a question you find it is not okay with you, what is the best success? You better try in a different direction. Anything can be obtained if we have enough patience to handle the question in different directions. Come on, student. I just want to make some changes. Look at this. Look at this. Ready? I want to make some changes. Just look at that. 3:1. I take it as 2:1. I can take. That is my intention. And 9:5. I want to take 8:5. Did you understand, my dear students? Did you understand, my dear students? Okay. I did make 2 changes for the same question. Now I must explain this question to you. The next one, you please explain to me. Shall we start? Come on, yeah. The ratio of the males and females in a committee of 48 members are in the ratio 2:1. I took 2:1. Let me have some change. Come on, come on. How many more ladies are to be added to the committee so that the ratio becomes 8:5? 2:1 has to be 8:5 by adding ladies, which means number of males should not be changed. You want to make you want to change the ratio only by adding ladies, which means males should not be disturbed, There are 2 parts. They are 8. Shall I make it 8? If I have to make it 8, can I take 8:4? What man? Shall I take 8:4? Come on. I can take no. Because you are only adding females, not males. 2:1 can be taken as 8:4. You know that very well. You understand that? Tell me. Number of females 4 parts becomes 5 parts, which means one part should be improved. Out of how many parts? 12 into how many number we have? 48. If you want to make the ratio to be like that, you have to add 4 more ladies. Let me check. Any of you said 4, but not necessary to send the message, my dear students. Yeah, congratulations, you are sending that. But okay, very good. But still don't send your message. Don't send your message unless I ask you to do so. Come on student, now we discuss this question with a small change. Shall we? Come on. Come on student, just look at that. Here this question I am giving to you. This time here just I am making some change. I want to make only one change. In place of 48, I want to put 60. You have to answer this question right now. What you are waiting for? Start. Yeah, you are asking me to explain one more time. Yeah. I am doing that, my dear students. I am doing that. Someone want me to explain the same question one more time. I will be doing that. Yeah. Just look at that. Just look at that. Just look at that. Excellent. Excellent. Well done. Yeah, students, tell me. Yeah, very good. Very good. Your response is very good. Male and females, they are in the ratio 3:1. You want to make the ratio 9:5 by adding? By adding females, which means you want to keep males absolutely same. That means this is 9, you want to make this 9. So 3:1 can be taken as 9:3. This is male, this is female. 9 and 5. You see, there is no change in number of males. You understand now how to change. So 3 parts of females should be become 5 parts, which means 2 parts must be increased. Out of how many man? Out of 12 into what is the number we have? 60. Therefore, your answer is 10. Get it? Get it, man? Are you comfortable now? Yeah, very good, very good. Now I think we can go ahead with more confidence. Students, are we comfortable? Are we clear now? I think we can go ahead. Come on student, we move on to next question. Here is the next one. Question number 21, just look at that. In a rare coin collection, there is one gold coin for every 3 non-gold coins. G means gold, N means non-gold. Tell me, there is one gold coin for every 3 non-gold coins, which mean to say that gold and non-gold coins are in the ratio 1:3. Are you comfortable now, my dear students? Are we clear now? Tell me what changes you want me to check. When 10 more gold coins are added to the collection, the ratio of the gold and non-gold coins become 1:2. When 10 more gold coins are added to the collection. What was the initial ratio? It was 1:3. It changes to 1:2 after adding 10 gold coins. Okay. Therefore, I do one thing, my dear students. Gold and non-gold coins 1:3. I want to take 2:6. Can I? Can I? You know that I can. 1:2, I want to take it as 3:6. Tell me. 1:2, 3, 6. Into 3, into 3. Into 2, into 2. So, 1:3 can be taken as 2:6. 1:2 can be taken as 3:6. Am I clear to you, man? Come on. Tell me. N means non-gold coins. How many parts they were? 6. How many parts they are? 6. No change. How many gold coins were actually there? 2 parts. They become 3 parts. Tell me how many parts gold coins get improved? 1 part by adding 10 gold coins. In this question, every 1 part is 10. In this question, every 1 part is 10. Am I clear to you, my dear students? In this question, every 1 part is 10. Therefore, what is the question? The total number of coins in the collection now becomes, every 1 part is 10, 3 parts 30, 6 parts 60, 30 plus 60, 90. Now we have total 90 coins. Note down the question. First you note down. Note it down first. Let me explain this question with a different perception. Just note down. Okay? Note down this question. Let me explain you by giving you one more example. Yeah. Now stop sending messages, my dear students. Don't send messages unless I ask you to do so. What actually happens, when you send the messages without my request, I may not be able to read the message, and that makes no sense. Okay? Come on, student, let me explain this question with a different logic. Just look at that. Here is the question. Shall I start? I want to make little change. Now you have to answer a question. Ready? In a rare coin collection, there is 1 gold coin for every 3 non-gold coins. For example, if I give you, in place of 3, you better take 2. Okay, student? And for every, and if in place of 1:2, in place of 1:2, if I give you 1:3, then what will be your answer? 1 minute. A little change, my dear students. Please. Yes, students. In this question, for every 3, in place of every 3, you take every 2. Okay, one more change. In place of 1:2, you take 1:1. Let us see whether this question is right or wrong. Tell me. Actually, the gold and non-gold coins were in the ratio 1:2. Okay? You want to make the ratio 1:1. What, man? Are you clear? Are we clear? Okay. You are doing this change by adding, which means non-gold coins should be constant. Therefore, gold and non-gold coins 1:2 we don't change, but 2:2, can I take 2:2? 1:1, can I take 2:2? Come on, man, can I take? Tell me, non-gold coins are not actually getting any change, they keep constant. Gold coins, 1 part becomes 2 parts, therefore every 1 part they are getting increased because of 10 coins. Gold coins initially they were 1 part, now they become 2 parts. How many parts they improved? 1 part. By adding how many coins? 10 coins. In this question, every 1 part is 10. Get it? Now, therefore, 2 parts. 2 into 2, 20. 2 into 20, 20 plus 20, 40. What, Matt? Are you comfortable? Are you okay with this? Maybe if we go for a different question, maybe if we discuss one more question, you will be even more confident. No problem, just look at that. Just look at that. Similar one, similar like the previous one. This question is absolutely similar to the previous one. Look at the question. A father bought 1.5 kg fresh grapes. You know, fresh grapes. You see, grapes usually we get in summer season. Summer season, tell me what kind of fruits usually we get? Grapes, watermelon. And in this kind of fruits, we have lot of water. Grapes usually having lot of water than pulp. Tell me, how many kgs they bought? 1.5 kg fresh grape. The ratio of the water to pulp was 4:1. Water to pulp was 4:1. More water, less pulp. So that is the reason why we do have this fruit in summer season. You see, God is so great. He usually gives the fruits as per the season that is available to us. What do you think? Because in summer actually our body loses more water. To recoup the more water, it is difficult to drink water. So grapes will do that. What do you think? When he is a naughty child, why is naughty child? Why he becomes naughty child? Why you are calling him a naughty child? Crushed these grapes, therefore naughty child. What he did? He crushed the grapes. You can imagine what could be the situation of the child after some time. Tell me, what happened? Then some water get wasted obviously. Whenever you crush the grapes just like this, what happens, you know? Water get dispersed. Want to do some practicals in your house? Okay, you do it. But make sure your father is not there. What happened? When he crushed the grapes, what happens, you know? Some water get wasted, and hence now the ratio of the water to pulp is 3:2. Water the pulp is 3:2. Students, just imagine, I just give you an example. Your father has got some grapes. What you did? As a naughty child. Probably you must have been a naughty child, for example, for about 10 years ago, no? You are sure for that? What you did? You crushed the grapes. What happens if you crush? Water gets dispersed. Pulp do not change. The pulp retains. You understand? When you crush the grapes, water, whatever it is, will get dispersed, but the pulp remains the change. It will have the pulp. Pulp won't change. Tell me, students, I want to do some changes. Can I make some change in this question? Can I take water and pulp 8:2? 4:1, I took it 8:2. Am I right? I can take no. Now that becomes 3:2. Am I right? Tell me. When his father bought 1.5 kg fresh grapes, they were in the ratio 8:2. Now the ratio becomes 3:2. There was no change in pulp, because the change has come only in terms of water. Actually, there were 8 parts of water. Now the water becomes 3 parts. How many parts? You lost 5 parts. Out of how many? 10 parts. Into what is the quantity your father bought? Your father bought 1.5 kg. So 5 by 10 means half. Therefore, now how much quantity is left with? 0.75 kg. Logic in the question. After crushing the grapes, water will sure disperse. Water will definitely, we will be losing water, but the pulp remains the same. Pulp remains the same. Note down. Note down this question, my dear students. Note down this question. Did you note it down? Please note down the question. We discuss the same one in a different direction. Right, students, I want to give some different question so that let me check how you are responding this question. Just note down. Okay, students, shall I give you one more question? Should I give you? Probably this time you will be able to handle this question without any confusion. In place of 3:2, in place of 3:2, if I have a number like 4:3, okay, I took 2:3. Tell me, students, then how you will do this? Start. What you are waiting? Come on, start. In place of 3:2, I give you 2:3. You tell me what quantity of fruit was crushed. Tell me, students. When you crush the fruits, obviously you will be losing the weight. Do some practicals. Do some practicals at home. You will understand. So when you lose the water, obviously the weight comes down. It comes down to 0.75 kg. We discussed this question in a different direction, my dear students. Yeah. Somebody said I can't understand, sir. No problem, student. I will be giving you a different perspective of the same question. Tell me what happened. A father bought 1.5 kg of fresh grapes. The ratio of the water and pulp was 4:1. When he bought about 1.5 kg, there were 4 parts of water, 1 part of pulp. More water, less pulp. What his naughty child did? He crushed the grapes something like this. Now some water get wasted. Now the ratio of the water and pulp becomes 3:2. Water and pulp becomes 3:2. I just want to make some changes. Students, 2:3, no? Right. 2:3. I just made some changes like 2:3. Okay, student, just look at that. So 4:1 was the ratio. Now you are going to make it 4:2:3. Water and pulp. Okay. Actually, water wasted, pulp did not waste. Therefore, 4:1, I just want to take it 12:3. 2:3. I think you understand what change I did make. You understand this one, my dear students? You tell me, is this clear to you? What I did is okay for you? Tell me what happened? Pulp did not change. Pulp remains the same. Water, what actually was 12 parts becomes 2 parts, which means 10 parts of water get wasted out of how many parts? 15. Tell me what is the quantity your father bought? 1.5. 1.5, this 10 times. 10 by 10, 1 kg. If this is the case, your answer must be 1 kg. Well done, students. Many of you put your answer 1 kg. Congratulations. Very good. Good response, but still I could see there are some doubts from the students. It is natural. Not all the students respond positively. Yeah, some hundreds of students are there. Still, some students may not be able to understand this question. Then what is the solution? We discuss the same question tomorrow again with a different numbers. There you will be getting more confidence. Come on, student, just for some time, just leave the question. If you don't understand, we will get back to the question again tomorrow. There is no problem. Now we move on to next model. Question number 23. A money bag contains, come on student, a money bag contains 1 rupee coins, 50 paise coins, 25 paise coins. They are in the ratio 4:5:8. What is 4:5:8? This is the ratio of coins. Okay? Ratio of the coins are 4:5:8, which means there are more number of 25 paise coins, there are less number of 1 rupee coins. The ratio indicates the same. Tell me how many coins are there in all? We have 170 coins. So total coins are 170. What is 4:5:8? Ratio of coins. What is 170? Total number of coins. You understand that? Tell me. 170 we need to divide in the ratio 4:5:8. 4 plus 5 plus 8, 17, which means every one part is 10. 170 should be divided in the ratio 4:5:8. 4 plus 5 plus 8. How many parts? 17 parts. 170 by 17, 10. Every one part is 10. 4 parts, 40. 5 parts, 50. 8 parts, 80. You understand? Come on, man. Divide 170 in the ratio 4:5:8. 40, 50, 80. Anybody can divide. What you are asked to find? Find the total amount. What are 40? 1 rupee coins. So we have 40 1 rupee coins, 40 rupees. What about 50? 50 paise coins. 50 paise coins are 50. So that is 25 rupees. What about 80? 25 paise coins. 1 by 4 into 80, 25 paise, 20 rupees. Therefore, in the bag there were about 85 rupees. What, man? Are we comfortable? I know that we are not comfortable still. Some of you must be having some doubt for sure. No doubt, no problem. We will be discussing this question with a different example. You will be able to handle this question more effectively. Come on, student. Come on, man. We discuss the same question in a different direction. Are we ready? Come on. Come on. Did you note it down? Come on, note down. Are we ready? Come on. Here is the question. In place of 4:5:8, if I give you 3:2:5, what is going to be your answer? Come on, start. Come on, student, start. Okay, students, you take like this. 5:4:1. You take like this. You will be getting more confidence. Come on, do it. What is going to be the total amount? Again explain 23rd question. Okay, student, I am doing that, I am doing that. I am doing that, student. I am doing that, giving you different example. In place of discussing the same, we will be discussing in a different direction. So tell me, we have 1 rupee coins, 50 paise coins as well as 25 paise coins. They are in the ratio 5:4:1. Tell me what is 5:4:1? This is ratio of coins. Ratio of the coins is 5:4:1. Tell me how many coins do we have? So total coins are 170. 170 should be divided in the ratio 5:4:1. Come on, man, come on, man. 5 plus 4 plus 1, how many parts? 10 parts, which means every one part is 70. Okay? 5 into 17, 85. 5 into 17, every one part is 17. 5 into 17, 85. 4 into 17, 68. 1 into 17, 17. Tell me, we have 85 1 rupee coins. That is 85 rupees. We have 68 half rupee coins. So that is 34 rupees. We have 17 25 paise coins. That comes over 4 rupee 25 paise. Have you seen 25 paise coins, my dear students? You don't even see 50 paise coins. Then obviously, how can you see 25 paise coins? I think we are clear. Some of you are responding quickly, man. I appreciate. But still, some of you are having some doubts for sure. Let me come to this question again. We discuss this question in a different direction. Shall we discuss one more question in the same model? You will be getting more confidence. Are you? Come on. Come on, student. In place of 170, come on, student, if I give you 510, what is going to be your answer? Start. Very good. Come on, student. What is going to be your answer? Come on. Tell me. What we have? We have 1 rupee coins, we have 50 paise coins, as well as 25 paise coins. What we have, my dear students? We have the ratio of coins. Tell me, what was the ratio of the coins? The ratio was 4:5:8. This is the ratio of the coins. And how many coins we have in total? Total coins are 510. 510 should be distributed in the ratio of 4:5:8. Add up all the values. 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 8, 17. Every one part is 30. Therefore, 4 into 30, 120, 5 into 30, 150, 8 into 30, 240. Are we clear, my dear students? Are we clear now? You are responding. I could see many of you are responding very well. Congratulations, students. You are doing extremely good job. Good. Tell me, what is the total amount in the back? What about 120? We have 120 1 rupee coins. So 120 1 rupee means 120 only. 150 50 paise. 50 paise 150, that is 75 rupees. 240 25 paise. So 240 25 paise, that comes around 60 rupees. So that is going to be the total answer. That is going to be 120, 180. Your answer must be 255. Excellent, my dear students. Excellent. I appreciate. You are doing extremely well. Yeah. So we discuss one more question of the same model. Maybe this time you will be getting more confidence. Come on, student. Do this question. Start. What you are waiting for? Come on. Do the question. Yeah. Very well done. Very good. Tell me, students, what we have? We have 1 rupee. We have 1 rupee coins. We have 1 rupee coins, as well as 2 rupees coins, and then we have 5 rupees coins. Tell me, coins are in the ratio 2:4:5. What is 2:4:5? This is ratio of coins. This is ratio of coins. And what more we have? We have 220 coins. So we have total coins of 220. 220 should be distributed in the ratio 2:4:5. Come on, add it. 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 5, 11. If we divide 220 by 11, we get every one part 20. Yes, students, very good, man. Very good. You are doing extremely well, my dear students. Congratulations. But still, some of you are putting that we need to explain this again. Okay, I will be doing that. Every one part is 20. 2 parts 40. 4 parts, 4 into 20, 80. 5 into 20, 100. Because every one part is 20, 2 into 20, 40. 4 into 20, 80, 5 into 20, 100. Tell me, we have 41 rupee notes, that is 40 rupees. We have 82 rupee notes, we have 160. And we have 105 rupee notes, 5 into 100, 500. Hence, your answer must be 700. Yes, students, excellent, because many of you said 700. I congratulate you. You are doing extremely good job. Congratulations. I think now I am okay with you, and we can go to the next module with confidence. Okay, students? Are we clear so far, man? Students, are we clear now? I hope that everything is fine now. With this, we can move on to the next question. Are we ready? Let us go to the next one. Come on, yes. Here is the question. Read the question, my dear students. In a bag, there are 50 pice coins. In a bag, there are 50 pice coins, 25 pice coins, and we have 1 rupee coins. Okay. Tell me, what is the ratio of the coins? What is the ratio of coins? Coins are given in the ratio 5:6:2. What is 5:6:2? That is the coins we have in that ratio. And there are 42 coins. Total coins are, oh, it is not total coins, but it is total amount. It is not total coins, but it is the total amount. Look at the board, students. I just give you one interesting example. Just look at that. Look at the question, my dear students. Let me suppose that in a class, boys and girls are in the ratio 1:2. In the class, ratio of students is 1:2. Now tell me, students, total faculty members, total teachers in that particular school are 300. Tell me, how many boys and how many girls are there? How many boys and how many girls are there? Responding? Oh my God. How many boys and how many girls are there? Oh my God, student. Does it make any sense? Is this question make any sense, man? Come on. This is the ratio of the students. This is the total of teachers. So, do you have boys and girls and teachers? Huh? Do we have boys and girls and teachers? Is this wise to say 100 boys and 200 girls? Teachers are boys and girls? Huh? What do you mean? So, when I gave you ratio of the students, in place of total teachers, I must give you total students. If I don't give you total students, how can you divide 300 in the ratio 1:2? Get the point? Now come to the question. Tell me, we have 50 pies, 25 pies, and we have 1 rupee coins. Tell me, what is the ratio of coins? What is the ratio of coins? The ratio is 5:6:2. Okay. Tell me, what amount we have? This is not total coins, but this is total amount. Total amount is 42 rupees. 42 is not the total number of coins, but that is total amount. So, the given ratio should not be applicable for 42 rupees. Listen to this question carefully, my dear students. I will give you more examples to make you clear about this. Tell me, students, how many 50 pies we have? It is 5 or 5 parts? Okay, if we have only 5 50 pies, if we have only 6 25 pies, if we have only 2 1 rupee notes, the total amount in the bag should have been 6 rupees. Am I clear? If I have only 5 50 pies, if I have only 6 25 pies coins, if I have only 2 1 rupee coins, the total amount in the bag should be 6 rupees, but it is given 42 rupees, which means this total number should be taken 7 times. Therefore, 50 pice coins are not 5, but this is 35. I know that you did not get it. First you note down the question, man. You note down this question. I understand that you are not able to get the question in the very first stroke. Note down the question. We discuss this question in a different direction with a different value. Note down this question. Boys 1000, girls 200. Okay. Please note down this question. Okay. We discuss one more question of the same model. Maybe you will be able to get the point right now. Tell me, students. Question number 26. Just look at that. Let me explain this question, and after that you ask me whatever you want. Tell me. We have 10 rupee notes. We have 5 rupee notes as well as 2 rupee notes. Tell me what is the ratio of notes? So, ratio of notes is given 1:2:3. What is 1:2:3? That is the ratio of the notes. And what about the total amount? Is it total coins or total amount? Total amount. Total amount is 260 rupees. Tell me, students. This is about the notes, this is about the amount. Therefore, this 260 should not be applicable on 1:2:3. Then how to handle this particular question? Tell me. If there is only 1 rupee note, if there are only 2 5 rupees notes, 2 into 5 10, if there are only 3 2 rupee notes, the total amount in the bag should have been 26. When your valid answer is 26, if you take only one 10 rupee note, only 2 5 rupees notes, 2 into 5 10, 2 2 rupee note 3. If that is the case, your amount should have been 26, but it is given 260. Therefore, every number should be multiplied by 10. Therefore, 5 rupee notes are not 2, but it is 20. I know that. Still, there must be some confusion. No confusion, my dear students. We will be discussing the same question with a different perception, different logic. Maybe tomorrow you will be able to get this question right. At the moment, don't confuse a lot, just keep your cool and just note down the question that is taught to you. And tomorrow, actually tomorrow we need to start reasoning, but you know that a day before yesterday we could not able to run the class. Therefore, tomorrow also we will be discussing ratio and proportion. We will be discussing the same topic. Tomorrow I will give you complete picture of this topic. Maybe tomorrow you will be getting more clarity. Today you may be taking test on ratio proportion, but don't confuse, try your level best. If you find any questions lengthy or difficult, leave the questions. Don't try to answer all the questions. Leave the questions and try to answer those questions where you feel some confidence. And after that you can get back to the question again, you can take it. Okay? Students, now we take a break for 5 minutes. The questions are little lengthy. You could find that the questions are little lengthy for sure. So, as I told you that, don't be under impression of answering all the questions. It is not that easy in fact. Try to answer as many questions as possible. Still you are learning. It is easy to say answer all the questions, get lot of score, but in practice, it is not that easy. Therefore, don't be under impression that you have to get all the questions right. When the questions are lengthy, obviously you take some time for sure. Let me explain some questions. I don't want to waste all the questions. I think which topics are completed. What question? What is the question, sir? Sir, from today itself, I joined in the class. Okay. So somebody says that today only somebody has joined. I understand. We will be repeating that. Student, just look at that. When the question is a little lengthy, as I told you that, you need to be a little confident in answering this kind of questions. Just look at that. Point E is 15 meters east of point B. Where we start with? We will be starting from B. Come on. You fix the position of B. Come on, student. Point E is 15 meters east. There you have point E. Then point G is 20 meters north of point. 20 meters north. 20 meters north point G. You see that? I think everything under control. Point K is 10 meters east. 10 meters east. Here we have K. This is K. Come on, student. Point M is 30 meters south of K. South, my dear students. South. Here. South. 30. 20. Okay. Another 10. 30. Total 30. 20 plus 10. 30. What is that? Point M is 30 meters south of point K. This is M. South, you know that? This way we have to come south. Then point P is 20 meters west of M. 20 meters west. 20 meters. Just look at that. That is 10 and this is also 10. Again another 10. So 10 plus 10, 20. What we have? Point P. There you have point P. Okay, students. Come again. Point L is 10 meters north of P. 10 meters north. What? Point L. North. Here is the north. Therefore, 10 meters north means 10. Therefore, another 10. What you have? There you have point L. Here you have point L. 15 can be divided something like this. 10 plus 5. You understand, my dear students? Because this is 10, that is also 10, another 5. Then, you understand, my dear students? 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way, so form a group. Which of the following does not belong to that group? Come on, student, which of the following does not belong to that group? How can we say G and B? Why your answer is G and B, my dear students? 4 of the following belong to one group and one particular group does not belong to that group. Then your answer is G and B. What is the logic of giving your answer G and B? What is the point? What is the significance of giving this answer? Because if you can see that all the points are depending on somebody else. Okay, students, I will get back to this question again. We move on to next question. I just get back to this question. Yeah, just look at that. Question number 2. Question number 2. Here is the question. Question number 2. Just look at that. Point H is 2 meters north of G. You fix the position of G. Point H is 2 meters north of G. Red color, could you see, my dear students? Red color is okay with you? Maybe better we go with black color. Point G. You fix the position of G. 2 meters north of G, you have point H. Then, point L is 8 meters to the east of M. Students, if first you look at that, we have H, we have G, but L and M we don't have. So, look at the next one. Point I is 8 meters to the east of H. Point I is 8 meters to the east of H. Point I. Any of the information we still did not make use? Tell me, students. Point L is 8 meters to the east of M. We did not make use because we have to get the relation. So, till then we have to wait for some time. Tell me, students. Point L is 4 meters to the north of point K. Again, we don't know L and K right now. So tell me any other information we are still not using. Point L is 4 meters to the north of point K. You understand that? That particular information still we are not using. Look at the next information. Point K is 4 meters to the west of point J. Again. Tell me students. Point K is 4 meters to the west of point J. All this information we are not using because there is no link right at the moment. We have to wait for some time. Point J is 6 meters to the, here is the point. 6 meters in the sense, you see, 2 meters, another 4 meters, and point J, here is point J. I think you understand. We got the point J now, and with that we can mix up if any information we have left. Tell me what information? Point K is 4 meters to the west of point J. 4 meters, 8, therefore half of. What we have? We have K. You please look at the numbers are very important. Then point L is 4 meters to the north of point K, 4 meters to the north, 4, therefore 4. This is also 4. What we have? Point L, here we have point L. So L, G, they are all in the same line. Final point. Point L is 8 meters to the east of M. This is 8 meters to the east of M. L. Therefore, M should be over here. 8 meters. This is 4 meters. This is 4 meters. 4 and 4. You understand that? Tell me students, in which direction is point L with respect to J? What you are looking from? You are looking from J. From J, where is L located? For J, this is all north. And for J, this is all west. And L located somewhere between north and west. Therefore, your answer is northwest. Student, yes, yesterday's paper was definitely a little lengthy. Therefore, don't be under impression that you have to answer all the questions. What is the point, my dear students? Yesterday, Yes, students. Yesterday's paper was a little lengthy for sure. Don't under impression you have to answer all the questions. Right. Question number 3 is very similar to the previous one. You can answer this question. Question number 4 is also very similar. But only thing here you have to see is this question includes a lot of information. Definitely you will be taking some time. What is my point is, if you are unable to answer all the questions, don't feel any kind of inferiority, because questions are so lengthy, it's difficult to handle for sure, no doubt in it. Question number 4, you can answer this question, my dear students. Question number 5. Oh students, just look at, here is the direction. In this question, we have to see how the direction should be taken. Just look at that. Point Q is 5 meters to the south of point P. Here we have P, and 5 meters south of P we have Q. Okay. Then point R is 6 meters east of Q. We have point R. Then point S is 2 meters south of R. 2 meters south of R we have S. Then point T is 2 meters east of P. 2 meters east. Here is 2 meters. You understand 6 and T. What we have? Point T is 2 meters east of point P. Point F is 5 meters to the south of, 5 meters to the south. South in the sense over here. So that is on the line. This is total 6, my dear students. So this is 2, this is 4. Come to the line. Where we have? What we have? This is point F. You understand? That is point here. What is the shortest distance between S and F? We are looking for this particular distance. What is the shortest distance between S and F? For your convenience, I want to divide this question and I want to give you separately F, R, and for F and R we have a distance of 4, and R and S we have a distance of 2. I am just getting the distance over here. This is right angle triangle. Therefore, your answer is square root of 4 square plus square root of 2 square. 16 plus 4, that is 20. In 20, what you can keep? Come on, student. We can take this number as 4 into 5, and 4 if you take out, it becomes 2 root 5. 20 was taken as square root of 4 into 5. So, 4 if we take it out, it becomes 2. Therefore, that is 2 root 5. Student, I think that you are able to answer this question for sure. Color change cheyandi. What color you want me to explain, my dear students? I think black is okay for you. Huh? I don't use red for sure. Come on, student. Question number 6 is very similar, my dear students. So, I don't want to waste your time. Question number 7. Yeah. Students, when it comes to direction and distance, the basics are very simple. But the problem is, questions can be quite lengthy. In your paper, if you have any lengthy questions in the beginning, skip the questions. Try to answer easy questions first. I just want to tell you one thing. In competitive exams, what is all important is, let me suppose, my dear students, in question number 1, let us assume that you have what is 169 square. In question number 1, let me suppose that you have 169 square, you are asked to find. You see that, oh my God, this is very difficult, okay. In question number 2, let us assume that you have 1169 whole square. Again the number is improving. Again the question becomes even lengthy. The number becomes bigger, like our COVID cases. Every day we see more number of cases, number is improving. In question number 3, let us assume that what is 4321 cube is equal to how much? So, whenever a student see this kind of questions in exam, the first thing I can expect is he gets disappointed. Every day, whenever a student see this kind of questions in the beginning, he definitely gets irritated and he gets disappointed. In the process, he will be losing his confidence. He will be losing his focus. He thinks that, okay, I cannot answer, therefore just leave it. But surprisingly, in question number 4, there may be a question like 3 square is equal to how much? In question number 5, there may be a question like 11 square is equal to how much? Question number 6 can be 2 cube is equal to how much? What happens, you know? In the process of handling this kind of questions, student loses the time, loses the confidence, lose everything. He will not be able to see simple questions which are about to due in coming way. But unfortunately, in the beginning only he gets lot of disappointment. He simply say, I am just unable to answer. Who asked you to answer all the questions? Who are asking you to answer difficult questions? See, when you are playing cricket, are you under impression that you have to get 6 for every ball? You have to score every ball? You have to get the runs for every ball? No. A good batsman is who leaves the ball if the ball is so good. You have to respect the bowler. So, what is my point is, if you find any difficult questions in the beginning, leave the questions. Try to answer the questions which you feel easy. This question carries 1 mark. This question also carries 1 mark. You tell me which is more convenient? Obviously this. But students usually get disappointed by looking at the difficult questions. They don't imagine there are easy questions also. This is how you are losing your confidence. My advice, don't do this. Don't do this. Try to answer easy questions first, then you answer difficult one. But I understand that yesterday's paper, the questions are little lengthy. I am very sure that you get a little confusion for sure. Yeah. Therefore, I understand that you find a little difficult in the beginning questions. But never mind students, we can easily handle this kind of questions. Look at that. Point Q is 5 meters south of P. Point Q is 5 meters south of Q, P. Then point R is 5 meters east, 5 meters east of Q, point R. Point S is 10 meters south, 10 meters south. Take 10 meters. What you have? You have point S, you can easily understand that. Point T is 5 meters west of S, west of S. Here we have 5 meters. Look at that, 5, 5. What you have? Point T is 5 meters west of S. Point U is 5 meters north of T. 5 meters north, my dear students. This is 10 no, therefore this is 5. What is this? This is point U. Then point W is 10 meters east of U. 10 meters east. Come on student, here 10 meters east. 10 meters east in the sense 5 plus 5. This is 5, this is already 5. What is that? Point W. Here you have point W, 10 meters east of U. Point V is midpoint of U and W. Point V, here is the point. Point V is the midpoint of U, W. U, W. Midpoint means here. What is this? This is V. Now the question, point Q is in which direction from point S? Point Q is in which direction from point S? Students, you have to make some changes. Point Q is in which direction from point S? From point S to point Q. It should be northwest. It is actually north and it is actually west. Therefore, this must be northwest. Please make the change. Actually, your answer will be north. The question should be something like this. If the question is something like this, point V is in which direction? Is in which direction from point S? Which direction from point S? If this is the question, your answer will be north. But actually, you are asked to find Q, therefore, it should be northwest. Please make the change. And there is a simple mistake, you please make it right. Okay, student? So, whenever this kind of questions are given, you have to see that. There is no confusion, student. I think you can easily get it. I am trying to explain you maximum number of questions because the time is so limited. You have to understand that. Question number 9 is very similar. Question number 10 is also similar. But if you could see that first 9 questions are little lengthy. From 10th question, the questions are seem to be easy. We can answer this. Pole H is to the east of pole R. Pole H is to the east of pole R. Come on student, you fix the position of R. Pole H is to the east of R. Come on student, east of R. Pole H is to the east of R and to the north of D. H is the north of D. I think you understand this. Pole D is in which direction with respect to R? This is very simple, no? East and south. Therefore, your answer is southeast. See how simply we could able to answer. Starting questions are little definitely lengthy, but after that everything is under your control. Yes, student, you can easily do this. You can easily do this question. Yes, students, there is no confusion. You can easily handle this kind of questions, not very big issue. Yes, student, question number 13. Look at that. Question number 13. Prince was standing facing to the pole at 1:45 a.m. 1:45 a.m. So, by the time it is understandable that the sun will be in the west. 1:45 a.m. Students, you remember what are the directions how we take? This is east, this is west, north and south. Because the time is already 2 o'clock, you can understand that sun should be on west. Okay? Shadow of the pole fell towards his right. This is Prince. And there you find the pole. There is the pole. Where you can see the shadow of the pole? There it is. And that is nothing but right of Prince only, no? What is this, my dear students? This is pole. And who is this? This is Prince. And hence Prince must be facing north. Prince must be facing north. Because here you have sun, therefore shadow of the pole can be seen over here. That is nothing but right side of Prince. Therefore Prince must be facing to the north. What, man? I hope this is there is no confusion in this question. We move on to next question. Students, this is once again very simple. I don't want to waste your time. Rahul put his timepiece on the table in such a way that at 6 p.m. hours, our hand points to north. Just look at that, my dear students. So, just look at that, because it is a wall clock. It is a wall clock. Wall clock is taken like this. This is a clock. This is 12, this is 6, this is 3 and of course this is 9. What is the time now? The time is 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. our hand should be facing 6, minute hand should be facing 12. What do you think? What is this? This is 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Tell me, our hand points to the north. Our hand points to the north. If this is north, this is south. I think you understand, my dear students. That is south. This is how the directions are taken. What is said to you, my dear students? If you identify north, clockwise of north is going to be east. So, clockwise of north is going to be east and this is west. Okay? So, this is how he is taking directions, that is his wish, not a problem. Now, in which direction the minute hand will point at 9:15 a.m., 9:15 p.m. What is 9:15, my dear students? What is 9:15? When the time is 9:15, you can understand that minute hand must be facing 3, our hand must be facing between 9 and 10. What do you think? The time is 9:15. What is your question? The minute hand is going to face, this is the minute hand, and this point already we declare west, and hence the minute hand must be facing west. I think I need not waste your time. So, directions we are already comfortable with. So, now I think we can move ahead. Okay? Maybe another question will help you to get this clear. Yes, students, you can do this. You can do this. Yeah. Everything this is very clear. But only thing, my dear students, only thing is questions are a little difficult. That is the reason why you might have faced any confusion. Otherwise, everything is under control. Just look at that. Question number 20. Raju is standing in the garden and facing northwest. Tell me. He turns 90 degrees in clockwise direction. He turns 90 degrees in clockwise direction. Students, just look at that. He turns 90 degrees in clockwise direction. Come on. Look at that, look at that. He turns 90 degrees in clockwise direction and then he turns 145 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. Students, you remember whenever this kind of questions are given, what is our method? We simply subtract 135 minus 90. How much we left with? 45 degrees in what direction? Anti-clock. From which point? From northwest. You know what is the meaning of a northwest? This is a northwest. This is northwest. From where? 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. Turn, student, 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction is this, 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees anti-clockwise and this position is said to be west. This position is said to be west. Student, I may not be able to answer all the questions because the time is so limited. Let me answer only those questions which you might have felt a little difficulty. I am not actually touching this kind of questions because these questions we discuss many. Only thing is you have to discuss for another time. You have to do this for next time, another time. You will be getting clear. Again, this is very simple. I think there is no question, my dear students. Everything under control, you know. There is no confusion in this question. You see that question number 24. You see this question, my dear students. Raman is performing yoga with his head down and legs up. With his head is down and legs are up. This is dangerous yoga. Be careful. It should be done right. His face is towards the west. His face is towards the east. His head is down. I am giving this information to you. This is Raman. Okay. And these are the legs. Okay. Tell me, his face is towards the west. His face is towards the west, this direction. Which direction his left hand will be? His facing west, my dear. This is west. This is west and this is east. And hands, you can imagine, just imagine a hand, left hand. This is left hand. So obviously this left hand is facing north direction. This kind of questions you can just have an imagination and you can do this. Question number 25. Yeah, once again very simple. Students, I never find any difficulty in this kind of questions, but I agree questions are a little lengthy. So may not be you are unable to answer all the questions, never mind. You are learning, still there may be lot many questions you have to learn. Okay students, so with this we come to an end of our session and I think the next session is going to be started. So okay students, so for today we take a leave and tomorrow morning by 9:30 we discuss ratio and proportion. Tomorrow is going to be the last class. Okay, thank you students, take care.